Alrighty. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Bash Harry. This is the Harry Knit. We do a lot of knitting stuff and today's going to be a little different. We're going to do a reacting of knitting in TV and media. I would like to note I am not the first person to do this. There have been a couple of people who have done videos like this before. I will link them down below. I have not watched what their takes were, but I know that they made them because I didn't want to really like say things and repeat them back even subconsciously. So this is my really raw, honest opinion of the knitting that we see in TV and maybe some commercials. I asked my friend to send me some knitting videos that they've seen on YouTube. We found some. I'm going to react to them and see if they're actually knitting. Because what I've noticed is that a lot of people don't really know how to knit on screen, but it's more common than you think. I think knitting is like the go-to activity for like the older gentlewoman that I've seen. So I thought it would be really fun just to watch and react and just see if, they know how to knit. I think that'll be fun. I think that'll be cool. And if you think that'll be cool, just keep on watching. I've got my laptop here. You can't see it, it's off screen, but we've got some YouTube clips pulled up. I really hope that they don't get this video copyright claimed. This is purely for discussion and purpose. But we shall see. We shall see how the YouTube gods react. The first one that we have here is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I remember there was a really popular pattern which was like the Weasley sweater and you could put your name on it. I think I tried to do it when I was a kid and then I never did it. It was way too hard and I was way too lazy to finish that. I forgot this scene happened.
It's not much, but it's home.
Where have you been? Harry, how wonderful to see you, dear. Bed's empty, no note, car gone. You could have died. You could have been seen.
Here we can see that there is a magical knitting contraption. I want to look closer to what this magical knitting needles are making. It looks like it's a really, really long scarf, but you can see that there's stitches going around. So it's definitely like a striped scarf, I want to say. But it's not really knitting. It's more like the needles are going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's not actually knitting anything. And maybe it's because the quality isn't so great on this YouTube. Yeah, I don't even see a tail. There is a loose end, but I don't think that knitting needle is holding on to anything. It's not even moving the stitches around. It is a really pretty scarf, I'm not gonna lie. One thing that I'm noticing though is Molly Weasley's dress in this scene. What caught my eye is her sleeves, because I'm pretty sure this is crochet. I'm pretty sure the sleeves are crochet. She's wearing a wrap dress over it, but the sleeves itself is made out of crochet. Like you see right here, I think that's like, my crochet knowledge is very limited. I'm going to tell you that right now. But it seems like I think it's a mandala. I think that's what you call it in crochet terms, like a granny square, but a circle. And then you can see the sleeve here. It's what I'm assuming is going to be something like double or triple crochet. So I think that's really cool, but the piece itself that she's wearing on her body, not the sleeves, the body seems like it's just regular fabric. Closer upon inspection, you can see like there's like some scalloping right here. And also some scallop edging at the sleeve, like right here. It looks really cool. That is the first clip. I think it would be really cool to have a magical pair of knitting needles who can knit you a scarf. That certainly will make me knit a lot more if I had magical knitting needles that could do that. Let's move on to the second clip. This is from Breakfast at Tiffany's. Also, let's not beat around the bush, there's a pretty racist caricature of an Asian person in here. I watched this movie when I was like 10, 11, and even I was very uncomfortable with it. But other than that, big asterisk, it is a very good movie. If you just ignore the blatant racism. It's a very blatant caricature of an Asian man played by a white actor, and we can get into that a whole other day, but this channel is not for that, because honestly, I am Asian, and it is very tiring to talk about Asian stereotypes. Let's move on.
Dois homens. A mãe e a avó são duas mulheres.
That's a long
E a
string.
avó são pessoas de idade. O pai e a mãe são gente nova. Os três filhos são ainda crianças. A senhora Magalhães é mulher do senhor Magalhães.
Okay, it looks like she does know how to knit, and she's making a dress, and she's doing the turtleneck portion of the red dress using straight needles.
Very nice, once it's finished.
Actually, I'm a little nervous about it. Jose brought up the blueprints for a new ranch house he's building, and I have this strange feeling that maybe...
Oh, I love her voice. I love Audrey Hepburn's voice. It's so sweet and delicate. There's that transatlantic accent. This is not an accent channel. I have a very, very basic international kid accent. She is knitting. It's not a technique that I've seen before, but it does look like she is knitting. If she's doing it like this, she's holding her yarn, her needles, almost like she's holding her needles a little bit like this, which, you know, not wrong. She could probably knit like this and it should be fine. But she is slipping the stitches, and she's probably doing a purl stitch actually. I do like the color of red that she's using. The dress does look very nice, if not a little strange, but I would say Audrey Hepburn does know how to knit. I think she was doing a purl stitch, and I think she did it well. Let's see what else we have here. We've got Grey's Anatomies. I know a lot of people who are really into Grey's Anatomies. I've got some friends who are like binging the seasons on. And sometimes I think, oh, maybe I should start watching Grey's Anatomies. You know, it's a show that I could probably watch while I'm knitting, but there's like 22 seasons now, and I feel like it's too late for me.
A good basketball game can have us all on the edge of our seats. Games are all about the glory, the pain, and the play-by-play. And then there are the more solitary games.
Dude, is she knitting?
The games we each play all by ourselves.
You know, as a friend, I gotta tell you, you look a little weird.
I'm making a sweater.
You're knitting in a bar. You can't knit in a bar. You're scaring the customers.
Come on, have a drink.
I can't have a drink.
First of all, I feel like it is perfectly fine to bring your knitting everywhere you go. And that is perfectly okay. You're not scaring anybody by holding these kind of pair of needles. I think you look really cool.
Celibate.
You mean sober? What do you mean sober?
No, celibate. I'm practicing celibacy, and drinking does not go well with celibacy because it makes everything and everyone seem kind of porny, and then my head gets all cloudy, and then the next thing you know, I'm naked. And my point is, I'm celibate, and knitting is good for surgical dexterity, so I'm making a sweater.
You celibate? That's dumb.
I don't know if it's true if knitting is good for surgery dexterity, but if it is, slay. Good on you. More people should take up knitting. I don't know if she's making a sweater though, but it does seem like she does know how to knit, which I think is pretty good. It looks like she's making a scarf though, or a gauge swatch. It's a very thin piece, so I don't know how she is starting off with the sweater. In this scene, she's slipping stitches. I think she's like slipping stitches, just like sliding it off one needle to the other. And I feel like that was an art direction by the director telling her, okay, you can stop knitting in this scene. I'd like to imagine just for continuity's sake, she was having to slip some stuff and put it back in, or somebody else had to do that. Very interesting stuff. I think she knows how to knit, but she's probably not making a sweater.
He's broken, George. First he chops off his hair, then he starts hanging out with this Callie. Wait, that is not a name, Callie. Who is she, anyway? I'm his best friend. Not that he talks to me anymore.
Triple word score. 69 points. Woman, I'm beating the pants off you. Pay attention. What the hell are you doing?
I'm knitting a sweater. Actually, Meredith, that's my friend, the friend that broke George, she is knitting a sweater. She's not really knitting a sweater because she cannot knit, but I want her to think she is knitting a sweater because she and I took a celibacy vow, so she's replacing sex with knitting.
Okay, that makes more sense. I think she knows how to knit. Izzy definitely knows how to knit. She's doing it English style where you do it on your right hand and you're wrapping it around. It seems like she's gotten the movements down. And at least she also in this scene acknowledges that Meredith might not know how to knit. So I feel vindicated.
With knitting. And so I am knitting pieces of Meredith's sweater so that I can switch them out with hers so that she can really believe she is knitting. Because if anybody needs to be celibate, it's Meredith because she broke George, you know?
This scene is making me think I should watch Grey's Anatomy. I love the banter. And I know Shonda Rhimes, I think it was a Shondaland production. I know Grey's Anatomy is a Shondaland production, and so is Bridgerton, and I've been watching Bridgerton, so this might be really fun. I might have to watch it. They both know how to knit. One, Izzy, definitely knows it a lot more than I would say Meredith does. And it makes sense for Izzy to fix the sweater. But I wonder how the logistics of that is. Like, is she just gonna like put the needles or the stitches back into her needles or however? Huh, interesting. I think it'd be so much fun to make a sweater in a pub or hospital. I've knitted in a hospital before. I've done it many a times. Okay, let us move on to New Girl. And I remember watching this scene when I was watching New Girl when it came out. So it'd be nice to revisit this.
I mean, growing up was brutal. I went to an all-girls school. The worst girls can be so mean to each other.
Cece and I hid in the bathroom for 4 years.
Huh. This is really nice, guys. Thank you for letting me join in. It's totally relaxing, except that I don't know why. If I put the fox through the cave, the yarn is broken. I don't know why this is not turning into...
What you making?
A hat.
If you're making a hat for a baby, it is done.
I don't think anyone is knitting in this scene. I don't think anyone's crocheting in the scene. I love Lizzie Kaplan. She's great in Mean Girls. And she definitely embodies the feeling of somebody who is starting out with crafting. Because I have taught some classes when it comes to knitting and crochet, and we have definitely had people who get very frustrated. And that's totally fine. It is a very new craft to a lot of people. What I want to see here is I don't think Zooey Deschanel or like the character Jess Day knows how to knit. Like the way she's holding the yarn, it's kind of like this. So it's there, like she knows how knitting needles are supposed to be positioned. But then if you watch her continue on, she's moving the yarn and she's not necessarily doing anything. She's just slipping stitches to the other needle. So I don't think she necessarily knows how to knit. And the same goes for Cece in the scene. She's got like this huge crochet chain, I think, attached to something, but I'm not entirely sure what it's attached to or what she's making. And then the person on the far left, I forgot her name, but she's also in Grace and Frankie, and that's a really good show. She has what I think is a crochet hook. Yes, it's a crochet hook, but she's knitting a sock. Her crochet hook is holding a sock. And I know there are crochet sock patterns, but that looks like stockinette. And she's starting it from the bottom up. And I don't know if you can do that with crochet. Let me know if there's any patterns like that. Yeah, I have no idea what they're doing in New Girl. This doesn't seem like it's a very fun craft night. I do like New Girl though. I do enjoy the show. Just might not use it for a tutorial. It's great to watch while you're knitting. Probably not the best show to watch if you want to get inspired with the people knitting. Let us move on. We have Gilmore Girls. I've watched Gilmore Girls, although I know that it is a very popular show. It is the same thing with Gilmore Girls and Grey's Anatomy. It is on my to-watch list, and it's been on it for years. Still have never watched it.
Welcome, fair citizens of Stars Hollow. We come together on this glorious autumnal day to rescue our beloved Muddy River Bridge. And the knitting will commence at precisely 10 o'clock a.m., and we will knit unceasingly until our long day's journey ends at the stroke of 10 p.m.
I love all the knitted pieces that everyone's wearing, especially the guy in blue. He is a slay. He ate that outfit. Like, the coordination you must have to, also the amount of like skeins you have to buy to knit up a sweater, a hat, and a scarf of that same color. It looks like it's a self-striping yarn. That is just my assumption because it just looks so natural. And it's very fuzzy too. Like this quality isn't very good. I think it's like 360p. But the yarn itself looks so fuzzy, and I think that scarf is garter stitch. It has to be garter stitch or something similar to that. Look at everyone wearing hats and scarves and being all so cozy. One thing I noticed is like no one uses circular needles. I guess they weren't popular around that time. Let me know. Obviously, I didn't know circular needles were a thing for a long time. Mostly because, you know, I didn't really know anybody else who knitted. But when did circular needles become popular? And when did, like, people start using that instead of straight needles, especially for everyday? Because usually on film or, like, in TV, it's always straight needles I see. And I think that's probably because that's just the general public's idea, is that you knit using straight needles. But most knitters I know much prefer circular needles. Is it just better for stage production or TV production is to use straight needles because it's more obvious? I don't know. I think it's also the cheapness of it. I think straight needles are a lot cheaper to resource and get in bulk rather than circular needles. That is so much fun. I feel like I would love a day like that where I can just sit down and knit with a group of friends outdoors. Can't do it in this heat. I'd be sweating my butt off. But in a nice wintry fall town like Gilmore Girls, I don't know what's it called. I think it's Hollow something. It would be so cute. Yeah, a lot of the people a part of this knitting thing might not know how to knit though. Melissa McCarthy is in this and she's just waving her yarn around, doing her thing. I don't think she knows how to knit. And Lorelai, I think she's doing a cast on method, I think, but I don't think she's knitting either. It's just a very, very small clip. I think the girl in the purple blanket might know how to knit, but we don't see enough of her to really see. Although I would say those needles are huge compared to the yarn that she's using. So that would have been a very thin scarf if she's planning on making a scarf. I do not know that many people who know how to knit, especially in such a crowd. That would be so much fun. We have one more, and I think we will end the video here. This is from the Addams Family, the 1960s, 1970s, around that time. And I remember watching these episodes when I was much younger.
Now then, Lurch. Needles go here.
Morticia knows how to knit. That's pretty clear.
Through, out. Now you try. One piece at a time. One piece of yarn. That's it. Flip it off. There. Isn't that fun? Doesn't it?
Oh, okay, that was cute. That is exactly what it feels like to teach somebody. I'm kidding, no. They're usually much more animated compared to Lurch. But it is a slow process to teach someone how to knit, especially if they've never done it for any considerable amount of time. But it seems like Morticia does know how to knit, and that's a positive thing. I think in all, we have found some knitters. We found out that Audrey Hepburn and the woman who plays Morticia does know how to knit, and so did Izzy and Meredith somewhat from Grey's Anatomies. I think it would be really fun to watch some more knitters around TV and movies. If you have any recommendations, please leave them in the comments down below. I maybe want to make another video like this if you want to. It's very interesting to see it because I don't think I'm a professional knitter. I'm not an expert or anything. I'm just somebody who really enjoys knitting as a hobby, as even like a small business type thing. But you know, it's really fun to see people talking about knitting when it comes to TV and media. It almost feels like, oh yeah, my hobby actually is pretty cool. I would love to see more of that. Anyway, I think that is it from me. If you like this video, please do like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys soon, I promise. But in the meantime, my name is Pash Harry, and I'll see you soon. Bye!